Welcome to Black and Gold Digital Edition, a behind-the-scenes look at your Pittsburgh Steelers.
Hi, and welcome to our digital show. I'm Jay Puskar alongside Mike Fenner and Kent Urbanski. And gentlemen, we're going to get right to it. The Steelers not playing a game in week number 4 as the NFL has decided to cancel their matchup with the Titans as Tennessee has come down with the COVID-19 pandemic down south. Guys, did the NFL make the right decision in at least postponing this game? Because there was talk that they were going to either try to play it Monday or Tuesday night. Kent, we'll start with you.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I've heard so many different stories and variations of how they should have handled this. Even something as crazy as shutting the whole league down for 1 week and then resuming just to keep everything on track. But you know, the Steelers take their guidance from the NFL, and they don't have a say-so in really getting a forced bye week on them. So I don't know. That's hard to tell. It all depends on who you talk to. I think the Titans are welcoming it right now because of what they're going through. But the Steelers were ready to go. They practiced and been practicing, getting ready for this game. Now they have to kind of shut that down for a little bit and set their focuses on another game in a couple of weeks from now.
And Mike, being in this business and us covering the franchise, I mean, it's been a wild 3 or 4 days. I can't imagine what the fans are going through, trying to get excited for a matchup of undefeated teams. But did the Steelers at least take the news and handle it properly?
Seems like it. I mean, obviously you're going to be disappointed. You're going to have that level of disappointment. You can't help it. It's something that was out of their control. Mm-hmm. It is still out of their control. But hey, with professional sports, we've pretty much seen everyone be flexible, on the fly, be able to adjust. We've seen NHL hockey and NBA basketball on Monday afternoons in August. I never thought I'd see the day.
I loved it.
I mean, there's no rush. There's no reason to panic because they're going to get this game played. They're going to get this season played. It's just a matter of when and how. It's unfortunate. The circumstances aren't ideal. But, I mean, even if you have to back up the Super Bowl or back up the playoffs,
right?
I mean, everything about this year has been so unreal, surreal, things that you would never have expected to see in professional sports and in the world. So ultimately, it's not ideal, but it's going to get played. But I just can't see the NFL not playing this game in some capacity and going off of winning percentage, especially with two teams that are currently 3-0 and that we fully expect at least the Steelers to be one of those teams really in the thick of the playoff race. I can't see them having to go off winning percentage, whether that would to favor them or work against them. I can't see. It would affect so many other teams. This game will be played in some capacity at some point.
And to piggyback off of that statement, Kent, I mean, the fact that this game has a lot of integral parts to it, the fact that they're two AFC teams, they're two teams that are playoff potential. I mean, when it comes down to tiebreakers and matchups and strengths of schedule, they have to play this game, and you want to keep the integrity of the game as healthy as possible too, don't you?
Right, yeah, I agree with that 100%. I mean, I didn't want the Steelers to have to go down there and play some taxi squad players and things like that. It just, you know, this is professional football. Let's put the best people out there and see who wins. I was looking forward to this game because I think these two teams kind of mirrored each other a lot, and I was looking forward to that matchup, a great defense against a great running game. But we're going to have to wait for that. That's going to get put on hold. But like Mike said, it will get played. Playoff implications, I think, down the road because they've added some teams to the playoff system. So I think, you know, seeding could make a big difference in the winner of this game down the road.
And in our Black and Gold Today show, we heard from Tim Benz, a columnist for Trib Live, and he mentioned that some of the players, a lot of mixed emotions where, hey, this is going to ruin my bye week. This is ruining plans that I had in my personal life. And let's face it, we're all kind of treading on uncharted territories right now, even with our own personal lives. And just the fact that, you know, the Steelers organization, I feel like out of anybody in the league, this is the best modeled franchise that can cope with something like this and handle it in the best possible way. And Mike, you possibly agree with this just because it starts with the ownership.
Absolutely. Great ownership and a no-nonsense head coach, veteran team, veteran quarterback, so many pieces that have been in place. This is not a team with a brand new head coach, a brand new coordinator. It's not a team with a rookie quarterback. There's so many elements to why I believe this is not going to affect this team as severely as it could another team, plus being the 3-0 start. There's just so many reasons why it's not ideal, but this is probably one of the best teams, if not the best team in football that could be prepared for something like this. I truly believe the no-nonsense approach from Coach Tomlin is something that bleeds into this team, and these guys take on the attitude of their coach.
And Ken, on the field, it was great to see Ben Roethlisberger back on the field, playing really well, staying healthy, but how vital is it now to have almost 2 decades of experience to be able to guide a lot of these guys and say, look, this is what we need to do, and it starts with their leader.
Well, you know, he's had a bye week for like a whole year now, right?
Yeah.
A little over a year. So
He's fresh.
Right, he's fresh. Where I'm concerned a little bit about that, though, is maybe Ben might have needed that bye week a little farther down the road.
Right.
Yeah.
You know, and he's going to get it now when he might not need it. But like professional football players, they'll adapt, they'll adjust, and I think Ben has been a leader, a great leader throughout the start of this season, through all of this, and I think that'll continue, and they'll be just fine.
Finally, guys, question for both of you. Kent, we'll start with you, and just the fact of how much of a mental break could this be because of all the distractions taking place this week? Maybe guys are banged up a little bit here and there because of the lack of a preseason, a lack of preseason games, that this might be a good mental break, even though it does come so early in the season.
I think it's a mental break for everybody,
Yeah.
not just the team. You know, I mean, even looking at, like, Mr. Rooney came out today and made a statement, but he's been lobbying hard to get fans in the stands. I'm wondering if this is going to create a little setback for that, and so that's disappointing in one regard. And you know, in the fans themselves, I know I personally know fans that were on and off going to this Tennessee Titans Steelers game matchup twice. You know,
Yeah.
the original game that was supposed to be played, and they had tickets, had to send those back. Repurchased them, had to send those back. So I'm sure the you know, the mental aspect is tough on everybody, not just the team and the players.
Mike, what's your take?
Another interesting element to this is the physical health of the opponent. The Titans are really banged up themselves. No A.J.
Right,
Brown
that's
at
true,
receiver.
yeah.
No Taylor Lewan potentially at left tackle. I mean, Adoree Jackson's still on the IR at defensive back. They're pretty banged up, so they might be looking at this as a slight advantage. Obviously, you don't want to be in the COVID protocols and having a game shut down, but the health a big factor there. Plus, if you're Pittsburgh, it could be an advantage to see Derrick Henry later in the season because he has 14 more carries than any other player right now going. So, I mean, clearly they're going to run this guy into the ground. I mean, he's getting almost 25, 30 carries a week. So maybe playing against the Titans later in the season could actually be an advantage for Pittsburgh from that perspective because Derrick Henry, I mean, he's on pace for something like 300 or 350 carries this year. I mean, he got the contract and they're going to run him into the ground.
Well, the biggest question, gentlemen, is just the fact of where do we go from here? And we'll have to wait and see. The Tennessee Titans, their opponents the next 3 or 4 weeks, are their schedules going to be altered? And sadly, could there be other franchises that get affected with this as well? And that's just a ripple effect. But
Right,
again,
you
we'll
just
just have to wait and see. We'll keep our fingers crossed that everyone remains safe and do their due diligence out there in society. Well, for Ken Urbanski and Mike Fenner, I'm Jay Puskar. Thanks for tuning in. We'll talk next week.
Thanks for watching. Join us again next week for Black and Gold Digital Edition.